My Most Beautiful Experience. An Ibogaine trip report by Mary. Uploaded to earwid.org January 24th, 2016. I took the Ibogaine a day and a half after my 25th birthday. I'd been addicted to heroin since I was almost 21 years old. I tried kicking before, but not for some time, and never more than for a few days. I used my last dose at 10 AM Tuesday morning, and I started taking my Ibogaine in capsules. I put them in at 6 PM that night. Now, I don't think anyone should do this at home when there are clinics, but this was my last chance. I was so sick of the life that I did not care if I died, so I figured, what the hell. I'd taken it once before, but in too small an amount for true addiction interruption, and not only was it really intense, but it happened right as the Sandy Hook shooting happened, which really messed me up for a long time, and scared me away from taking it again. My fiancé was there to take care of me, and when I started to freak out at about 45 minutes into the experience, he calmed me down by telling me there was nothing to do but go through with it, and only time would be the cure. He had me lay down in a dark room with a candle right away. Almost 2 hours in, I felt myself really going into it, and hurried and took the rest of my dose. My body was burning all over, and although it did not hurt, it wasn't pleasant either. There was also the telltale metallic buzzing that seems common in reports, but for me, it seemed to be an intelligence of its own. It was like it came with the iboga, and it was there to see me through. At this point I can't even keep my eyes open, and I begin to go into the dream world. I start in this dark world or realm, which seems to be like a hell, where I'm reborn from a plant. New and clean, a shaman-looking man comes to me and tells me, "Finally, I've been waiting for you." I think this is the spirit of iboga, and I go with him, where he shows me over and over the world's addicts, telling me I'm not an addict unless I choose to be addicted, over and over. This is where my experience becomes unlike everything I have read. Apparently I did vomit several times, small amounts, and I got out of bed and put myself in the bathroom with blankets and pillows, but I have no personal memory of any of this. I then go into several different realities that I live in for months and years. These realities are in the past and future and present and all over the world, one in space and one in a different world entirely. Every reality I lived in was a metaphor, or sometimes more direct, for the things I needed to be shown and live. I won't go into a lot of detail because there was so much. When I wrote it down for myself, it was over 10 pages, single space typed, and I kept adding to it as I remembered more. One day, I will put it out there, but not until I am satisfied with it because of how beautiful the experience was for me. But in one vision, I was travelling to different places where certain special things were supposed to happen, and it wasn't until a goddess-like entity came and told me I was expecting things to happen just so, and that is why it would not work for me every time I tried. I then let go, and the amazing things started working for me. I took this to mean I should relax on expecting things to turn out just right. I later experienced, almost like a movie, how the human race would end itself. This kept replaying over and over with a small change every time, where I got further and further until I figured out a way to stop it. I took this as telling me not only could I change, but I could cause it as well. I also lived in several worlds where my fiancé and I kept using, and in each one we became terrible people, and something awful happened as a result. This message was very clear to me. Kept on like this though, with all these different realities, I kept living in them to learn these certain lessons. They seemed as real to me as anything, and in fact when I came out of it, they were registered as memories, and I kept insisting, for instance, that we had went to France, which was one of the places I went in my head, because that was how vivid it was. The mistake I made was travelling very soon afterwards. I had a flight Thursday night at midnight that I missed, so I got one Friday morning to go across the country to my family so I could break my habit. The problem was that even though I took it Tuesday evening, I was in the trip until Thursday at midnight, and I wasn't right for days after. That means I tripped for about 52 hours, with an additional 2-hour come up and about a 4-day come down, during which time I could barely even walk, eat or take care of myself. I did still have about 20 to 30% of the withdrawals I would have gotten, and still had cravings for about 2 weeks, which then went away. I know this works better for some people and isn't so intense, but I'm so grateful for what it did for me, and I know this is a divine gift. I'm ready to literally dedicate the rest of my life to it, because it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced, and although it hasn't been that long, I have no desire to ever do addiction to myself ever again. Personally, I recommend anyone with an addiction to try this, and go in with an open mind. I'd also recommend going to a clinic, because I lost 15 pounds I couldn't afford to lose, and almost died. I hope this beautiful drug, however, gets the credit it deserves. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm still not 100% as of now, but I just had to get this out. Everything's so beautiful now. I can't help but cry at their beauty.